If you've been posting content for a while, you probably know this nightmare. You get views, but none of them buy from you. And the simple answer is, it's really simple, by the way. The wrong people are watching your content while the right people are scrolling right past you. So I'll show you in 5 easy steps how to attract the people who actually buy from you and repel the ones that don't buy from you. So I'm just gonna put this out here so you don't waste time. If you don't have a business or if you're not planning on starting a business, this video is not for you. You create content to sell your service or your product, whatever it is, but the audience watching your stuff are broke. Like, that's the wrong audience you want to be having watching your content. They love your free content, but they never spend money with you. Meanwhile, the audience that actually wants to throw the money at you is watching Bob's videos over there. Fucking Bob. So somehow you build an audience that will never buy from you. How the heck do we solve that? What about we start in reverse? What not to do? What most people are doing that's wrong is they're trying to get everyone's attention. That they think that the more views I'm gonna get, the more money I'm gonna make. That's right if you're relying on ad revenue, but if you're relying on your business selling a product or service or whatever it is, then that's not true. But the good part here is, if you have a business, the solution is actually more simple than getting a ton of views. When I started my first business on Twitter, I went through what I think most goes through. I thought the more eyeballs I got, the more content I made, the more money I would make. But that was just complete and utter bullshit and ignorance. The first long time on Twitter, I made absolutely $0, but I wasted a ton of time doing the wrong things. But now I'm older and wiser, I know better. And actually, I hated what I did back then. I hated the content creation part. I hated it felt like I had a mask on, that I had to perform in a certain way to get views. And it wasn't me. I didn't like it, and it burned me the fuck out. So what I did is I swore to myself that I'm not going to create another job that I'm just like going through just to make money. That's not what I want to be doing. I want to have a job that actually makes me money, that I enjoy doing. So something had to change, and that change was quite backwards. So for the lack of a less cliche phrase, I reversed engineered my life. And after I did that, I actually got my first paying clients. Not after I did it, but after I implemented what I reversed engineered. So here's exactly what I did. Number one, in order for me to create a business that wasn't just another job that I went to earn money and just waste my time, I had to think about what I actually want to get out of life and create a business around my life. I know you've probably heard this before and it just sounds super cliche, but what my dream life looks like is I have enough time, I have enough mental energy and money to live a rather stressless life, where I can get to explore life and take care of my loved one and work with people I enjoy working with. My thinking here is, what do I need to get known for to get there? I need to create something that helps people, that builds trust with them so they actually spend their precious time and money with me. The second, what do I need to do to get known for that thing? I need to non-stop learn. I need to teach what I'm learning and share everything I'm learning on YouTube, and thereby building my business from that trust I'm getting from my content. So what kind of clients do I need to work with in order for me to support that lifestyle? For me, it's business owners who value their time more than money, who see expert help as an investment, not an expense. So what do I need to learn today to get one step closer to that goal? Working with that client that supports the kind of lifestyle that I want. For example, what I'm learning right now is to present a solution to a problem in a clear and effective way. And all of these steps were actually inspired by Tim Ferriss in his book, The 4-Hour Workweek, where he talks about a lifestyle design actually beats money first thinking. When you know your end goal, you can filter for the clients and decision you need to make to support that. So to sum it up, 1, you begin with your destination, like your dream outcome. Where are you in 30 years time or whatever time span you have? Then you reverse engineer the reputation, what you must be known for in order to get to that destination. Then the behaviors, like what are the actions you need to take in order to get there? And finally, what are the skills you need to develop today in order to just get that one step closer to your final destination? So step number 2, find your enemy. I'm not talking about going over to Tom, your goddamn neighbor whose dog keeps shitting on your lawn, and that's your enemy. I'm gonna get Tom. Now, you need to have an enemy that your audience also have. Why do you need that? Because that will give you a great positioning and makes you actually stand out in a crowd of a lot of sameness. So what I'm saying here, you don't need to be worried about stepping over toes. I'm not saying you have to go out there and be obnoxious. Obviously, that's going to get your attention, but maybe not the right attention, but you shouldn't be afraid of having a clear stand on what you're against. Dr. Robert Cialdini, I don't know if I'm butchering his name right now, research shows that people connect stronger with shared enemies than shared interests. And it's kind of weird, but basically humans are wired to pick up on negatives first over positives. God damn, my voice is... And I bet you've seen that a ton of times in real life. For example, when, let's just take politics, for example, when they are trashing their common enemy, capitalist, whatever. And you see those people who are against capitalism supports them now. So that's a shared enemy with them. So for example, when I thrash overcomplicated course selling bros out there, the ones that are tired of that is going to say, fuck yes, Mark. And be more inclined to show an interest in me and my content. So step 3, be radically transparent. Most coaches hide their best strategies. I give almost everything away because it builds trust. It shows people out there what I can do. And actually Stanford research shows transparency speeds up trust by 340%. And don't ask me how the heck they measured it, but that's what the research show. And each transparent video builds up on the last one I'm making. And you might be thinking here, but Mark, how are you going to make money? Like, you can give all your shit away for free and still most of the people consuming your content will never use what you're putting out there. What people pay for in the era of information overload is to have another person who's actually done it and can guide them. Like, most of it is paying for the safety of being with another person. I'm not physically being with another person, but paying to have a person actually guide them on their path to whatever it is they're buying from you. And you got to keep in mind, with AI being introduced to the world, information has become more than abundant. So there's really no reason to hide all of your information, because most of AI can teach except for some really high level expert shit out there. But what it can't create is the psychological relief of actually working with another person who's with you every step of the way. Step 4, keep it stupid simple. No fancy editing, no graphics that hurt your eyes, easy and casual language, everything feels doable. Confused customers don't buy. And you probably noticed that yourself. Like, for example, I went onto a page, I can't remember what it was, but I went onto the page and I didn't know where to click. I didn't know what actually they were selling at that point. I saw the ad. Actually, I think it was for a light of some sort. Doesn't matter. I went onto that page and it was so confusing that I skimmed it for like 3 seconds and I was off. I didn't want to spend my time on that. And it's the same with your YouTube videos. It's the same with your landing page. It's the same with your emails. If it's confusing, people are not going to consume it and people are not going to buy from you. And if you look at my videos are super simple. There's no real fancy editing or brain rot retention editing style going on. It's really simple, and I'm trying to keep everything as simple as possible because it makes it easier for you guys to consume my content and hopefully solve your problems. It really boils down to people are lazy. Yes, I'm calling you lazy. I'm calling myself lazy. If people have to spend energy trying to decipher what it is you're trying to say, they're not going to do it. They're trying to save as much energy as possible, and that's just a evolutionary build-in we have in us. Like we're trying to constantly save energy, be it physical energy or being it mental energy. We are constantly trying to save energy because energy means we can live for longer. And just to give you a little anecdote here, when I started to implement these within my older business, I started to get more email signs up. I started to get more warm leads in my business. And it's all because I started to introduce a very simple way of making content. I was solving one problem in my content for one specific person. And that was the same with my emails. I solved one problem. I have had one story with one point. I didn't try to solve like a fuck ton of different problems in one go. I solved one problem with one simple solution. So to sum it up, let's put everything into a template. Your ideal client filter. Write down what a perfect Tuesday looks like for you. Not a vacation, just a regular Tuesday. What time do you wake up? Where do you work? Who do you talk to? And now you ask, what do I need to get there? What do I need to be and do? And what kind of clients make this Tuesday possible? When you have that written down, like, you can then start to filter everything through that, to business decision, to how you prioritize your time and what to do with your day, basically. Template number 2, enemy positioning statement. Option A, simple and clear here. I help specific person achieve specific outcome without thing your enemy promotes, because your core belief. So that could, for example, be, I help overwhelmed business owners build sustainable YouTube channels without complicated system because simple approaches work better. Or we can go option B, which is a little more intellectual and curious and metaphorically. There are a number ways to achieve goal. One is seductive trap with vivid metaphor. One gives you desired outcome. I help you avoid the first and build the last. For example, this is the one I'm using on my email sign-up page. And it says, there are 2 ways to use YouTube for business. One is a fancy prison. One gives you freedom and consistent income. I help you avoid the first and build the last. So which one do you choose? Option A or option B? Option A works when your audience wants immediate clarity about what you do. Like safe, functional, converts well, when people actually are looking for solutions. Option B works when you want to stand out in a crowded market. It creates more intrigue and emotional connection. I know it sounds a bit weird, but it's a bit more, not emotional, but it invokes more emotion in the people reading it. The caveat here is people need to think a bit harder. And like we talked about before, if people need to think harder, it might be pushing them away. So why did I choose this? Because my industry, my market here is a bit crowded. So the way I thought of standing out was to have a bit more of an intellectual way to do my statement. So what if some of this backfires and doesn't work for you? Here's some of the problems my clients have faced and how we solve them. Problem number 1, my enemy positioning feels a bit too harsh and people are lashing out after me. The problem here is it's a fine balance between being direct and bold and being obnoxious. If you see an increase in people creating distance to you or leaving commenting about whether they seem upset or mad at you because of your statement, you can try to attack the idea instead of the people. So instead of attacking life coaches are scammers, for example, try to attack the idea of that or the concept of that. For example, hyper expensive coaching that makes you feel bent over has a special place in hell. That's more attacking the concept and the idea of what you're trying to get out there that people are tired of. So problem number 2, I'm too transparent and look unprofessional. So what I've seen with some of my clients is they start to share everything within their life, like my cat just died, or my dog has diarrhea, and I have to. When I'm saying transparent, you don't have to open up your personal life unless that's part of your business, like you are an influencer or whatever. Then you're probably not watching this video or whatever. So what I suggest here and what I've suggested to my clients is to share a process and lessons learned and keep your personal drama out of it. To put into kind of a concept, you have professional vulnerability and you don't have to see your video as a therapy session, basically. Like you've probably seen before where people are just outright crying on their videos. So problem number 3, my simple content gets no engagement. So when I'm saying simple content, I don't mean you need to be boring. You don't have to be sitting there not showing any kind of personality or any kind of quirks and stuff like that. And you still need to focus on psychological triggers within your content and primal desires and pains. And what are those? Like that's basically solving a problem for a person. They have this pain and you're moving them away from the pain towards the desire. That's basically what solving a problem is. So when I say simple, you can see it as the packaging of what you present and what you're giving to your audience. Make it look and feel good so they actually open it And no, that doesn't mean retention editing kind of shit where everything just moves at 1,000 miles per hour. Just to give you a quick example here. So instead of saying keep emails short, sure, it's simple and it's super boring. You could say most email marketers write like robots. It's simple, but it's more engaging. I hope that kind of like paints the picture of what I mean when I say simple. I don't say boring, I say simple, but still engaging. So that wraps it up. But even with perfect positioning, it doesn't solve one problem. You still don't know if it's working. How do you know if your positioning is working? You can attract the right audience and still have no clue which content actually brings in your paying clients. YouTube shows you metrics. Like if you go onto the YouTube page, you can see in your studio the views and how long they watch your videos, but it doesn't show how many clients you're actually converting, how many clients are clicking on your link and buying your product. So in the next video, I'll show you how to track what actually converts viewers into customers, because the right positioning means nothing if you can't measure what works, right? So if you want to see how I'm measuring what actually works for me and which brings me clients, just click the next video here somewhere. I don't know what size. Yeah.